What's up, players? Today we're talking about how to use a diminished chord leading into a minor major 7 chord, coming out of a 2-5-1 with an inverted
Dude.
drop.
Bro.
What was that?
Bro! Down here, man. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I have no idea how you even exist, bro, so join the club.
Well, you make no sense because I see all these damn guitar lessons on YouTube and nobody will start from the beginning.
Oh, you want to play that butter?
I want to play that butter.
Alright, let's start from the top. I'm going to give you the perfect introduction to neo soul guitar. Basically everything you need to know to get started, and the base knowledge you need to understand the concepts in my neo soul starter guitar book that goes beyond these concepts, showing you how to play tasty rhythm and lead ideas in the neo soul style. But first things first, what is neo soul? Guitar players on social media have given this genre a life of its own, where they play jazzy chord melodies, usually over a hip hop beat. But 20 years ago, no one thought of guitar when they heard the words neo soul. Neo soul is essentially R&B music from the late 90s and early 2000s, but it focuses in on a specific group of people who built empires on the sound we call neo soul. They are the Soulquarians. And although this group won't show up in your Spotify search, each individual member has a worldwide fan base. D'Angelo, Erykah Badu, Common, and Questlove, just to name a few. Their influence paired up with a social media platform forcing new musicians to showcase their talents in 60-second snippets shaped what we now think of as neo soul guitar when we're scrolling through our phones. Okay, so how do you sound like that? The first step to neo soul guitar is 7th chords. Most chords you hear in pop and rock music are triads, meaning they're built with 3 notes. So this regular C chord is made up of the notes C, E, G. And continuing with this pattern of stacking thirds, our next note is B, making it a C major 7. But don't worry about that too much, just memorize the shape. This C major 7 chord is a movable shape, meaning I can move the shape anywhere, and whatever the low note is the name of the chord. So I take this shape, and if I put it right here on the 3rd fret, that's a G. So that would be a G major 7. So we got our major 7 chord, now let's find our minor 7 chord, and it's as easy as lifting your pinky. So this B minor chord on the 7th fret, all I have to do is lift that pinky right there, and boom, B minor 7. Now check this out. I go right over here to E minor, right? Lift that pinky right there, keep the bar going. E minor 7, simple as that. So those minor chords are super easy to find. Same feel, same shape and everything, just lift that pinky. So now we got our major 7 chord and minor 7 chord. Now let's put them together with a groove. Let's try C major 7, B minor 7, and E minor 7. A popular groove in neo soul is finger picking up 4 notes. With my thumb on the root note here on the low E string, my 1st, 2nd, and 3rd finger are on the D, G, and B string, and I pluck each string from low to high. And it's going to be the same pattern for each chord, real simple. So after the C major 7, I make my B minor 7, right hand fingers all in the same place, and I pluck. Now when I go to my E minor 7 chord, my root is on the A string, so my thumb always wants to be on the root. So all I have to do is keep my fingers in the same place, D, G, B, and my thumb goes over to the A string where the root is, and I go. And I can put it all together like this. After I get that vibe, the cool neo soul thing to do is to add those little ditties. You know. And in this progression, we got our ditties over the E minor 7 chord, and it's as simple as that pinky again. That pinky's fire, bro. Alright, so all I do, I could hammer on the B or the E string with my pinky. Here it's going to be on the 10th fret. On the B string or right there on the high E. It's always 3 frets up. Always like that. However you want to do it. Hammer in and out. So many fun things you could do with it. Let's try. Now I'm going to try this progression over a track and play some solo ideas that I talk about in my neo soul guitar book. Here we go. Let's find some more of those cool chord moves. Here's the other common major 7 chord right here. And just like the minor 7 chord, I can hammer my pinky on the B or E string. Or do a hammer on pull off, just like this. Now let's vibe this with a slightly different feel, the backbeat tap. Now our fingers are in the same place. I'm going to start with my E minor 7 chord, thumb on the root, which is the A string here, and then fingers on the D, G, B. And this time I'm actually going to grab all 4 at once, just like that. I grab all 4 strings, lightly tap, and quick grab, and tap again. And we want to create this rhythm. So let's make this chord progression E minor 7 to D major 7, just like this. Now if I want to add some of those little moves, I can take the E minor 7, just something simple like that. Hammer on and pull off on the high E string, and then just grab that B string just to fill it out a little bit more. I can go to my D major 7 and do a real simple hammer into the B string and grab that E. Now I'm going to play this over a track and layer it with some neo-soul chord ideas, and it's as simple as knowing that I'm in the key of D major, and I could do these double stop moves. So if I think about my D major chord right here, on the 10th fret, I could see that root and jump over the top 2 strings, and get that cool kind of 70s Motown soul slide. And I could find the same one also. Right here I find my D major chord on the A string, and I could do it right there. So I want to see those 2 shapes, whatever key I'm in. Here I'm in the key of D, so I can go right there for D. And there's my other D, and I know I could slide up and down between that chord. So let's play some ideas with this one and see what happens. When you first learn about music theory, you learn about major and minor. But when it comes to 7th chords, there's a 3rd category, dominant. Basically, dominant is a type of major chord that's more dissonant. It wants to resolve. And dominant chords always resolve up a 4th. So let's take the C7 chord. A 4th up from this one is always a string over if you're on the E or A string. So 1 string over on the same fret is this note right here, which is F. So C7 resolves to F. A very common chord progression with the dominant chord is the 2-5-1, which in the key of F, it's G minor, C7 to F major 7. One of the dope things often heard in neo-soul is when chords outside of the key signature are used. We can apply this dominant chord concept to add outside chords. So we know C resolves to F, and when we bring it right back around to that G minor chord, let's think about what could bring us into that G minor chord. So I know my G is right here. Right, there's my G minor chord right around it. So I gotta think, what is a dominant chord coming into it? I can go backwards, over 1 string, as simple as that. And that would be D. D7 resolves to G minor. Another common thing in neo-soul is a triplet feel. And all that is you feel each beat as a triplet, and you play the notes to give out that groove. So if I play 3 notes per beat with this chord progression, it would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to play this one with the track solo over it and give you some ideas of what we could do with it. And if you want the tabs for everything that I've done in this lesson, check us out on Patreon. We have interactive tabs that go along with this lesson and all previous lessons. Here we go. Okay, we got some basics down. Now how about some juice? That's when we play chords like G minor 9, C13, F major 9. Those high numbers are what we call extensions. And it looks a little crazier than it actually is. So first off, after a 7th chord, there's only 3 other numbers. It's 9, 11, and 13. And quickly I'll break down what that means. Here's the C major scale. Each note has a number in relation to the root note C. C is 1, D is the 2nd note from the root, E is the 3rd note from the root, and so on. The C major 7 chord is made up of these notes C, E, G, and B, or the 1, 3, 5, and 7. And this pattern is every other note in the scale. If we continue the next octave, we have 9, 11, and 13, which are the only notes left in the key signature because 8, 10, and 12 are the notes C, E, G, which are already in the chord. Now I could spice up a C major 7 chord by adding a 9 and making it a C major 9. This would be the most common major extension that you see in neo soul, so let's not worry about the others right now. Now let's play the previous progression, but with these extensions. I got G minor 7, but I can make that a G minor 9. And instead of C7, I'll go C13. Instead of F major 7, I'll do F major 9. But there's one more thing with extensions, the dominant chord. The more you learn about harmony, the more you'll realize there's so much crazy stuff you could do with a dominant chord because its main function is to resolve, meaning it can be as dissonant or unpleasant sounding, but will still sound dope if it resolves correctly. So when there's a resolving dominant chord, you can alter certain extensions, mainly flat 9, sharp 9, flat 5, or sharp 5. So with this last D7 chord, I can make it a D7 sharp 5. And try it out like this. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters who help make this content possible. Through Patreon, you get access to interactive tabs with each lesson where you can easily slow down and follow along with what I'm playing. You have access to backing tracks I use in each lesson also, including the 3 tracks I played in this lesson, as well as exclusive lessons and tabs where you can learn all my neo soul posts on Instagram. So what are you waiting for? Grab that guitar, keep jamming, and stay nasty.